Hello, welcome to the channel Our Day Stories. Sit back and listen to a new story. But don't forget to subscribe and like it.
Bianca Conaway had always had a strained relationship with her mother-in-law, Beverly Nichols. Their differences in personality and constant clashes had created an unbridgeable gap between them. Despite their conflicts, Beverly cherished her ancestral home, a beautiful house nestled in a peaceful neighborhood. Desperate to find a way to cut ties with her mother-in-law once and for all, Bianca hatched a deceitful plan. She discovered a group of Chechen immigrants who were in need of a place to stay. Seeing an opportunity, Bianca secretly sold Beverly's house and convinced the Chechen group to settle there without their knowledge of the true ownership. As the paperwork was completed and the unsuspecting Chechen families moved into the house, Bianca reveled in her scheme. She believed she had finally rid herself of Beverly's presence and was eagerly anticipating her reaction when she returned home from her trip. Months passed, and the Chechen families lived peacefully in their newfound home, unaware of the truth behind the house's ownership. They took care of the property as if it were their own, planting flowers in the garden and painting the walls with vibrant colors. Meanwhile, Beverly's trip came to an end, and she eagerly made her way back home, excited to be in her own familiar surroundings once again. Little did she know that her homecoming would be far from what she expected. As Beverly approached the house, she noticed the changes in the exterior. The once well-maintained lawn had transformed into a colorful garden, and the walls now displayed intricate artwork. Puzzled, she hesitantly pushed open the front door and stepped inside. Beverly's heart sank as she took in the sight before her. The once familiar interior had been altered beyond recognition. The furniture she had lovingly arranged was replaced with foreign artifacts, and the walls were adorned with artwork that bore no resemblance to her own taste. Confusion turned into disbelief as Beverly explored her house further. She found evidence of a different life, a life she had no part in. The unfamiliar smells, the foreign language she overheard from the next room, all pointed to a reality that shattered her sense of belonging. Fear crept in as Beverly's mind raced to comprehend the situation. She couldn't fathom how her house had been transformed into a haven for strangers, nor did she understand how it had happened without her knowledge. Beverly's thoughts turned to her daughter-in-law, Bianca, suspecting her involvement. Beverly's first instinct was to confront Bianca and demand answers. She picked up her phone, trembling with anger and confusion, and dialed her daughter-in-law's number. Bianca answered, feigning innocence as Beverly struggled to find the right words to express her shock and betrayal. "Bianca, what have you done?" Beverly's voice trembled with a mix of anger and hurt. "How could you sell my house without my consent? And why have you allowed strangers to occupy it?" Bianca's voice dripped with false concern as she replied, "Mother, I had no choice. The house needed repairs, and the Chechen families were desperate for shelter. It was the best solution for everyone." Beverly's voice quivered with anger as she retorted, "The best solution for everyone. How could you make such a decision without consulting me? This is my home, my memories, and you've taken that away from me." Silence hung in the air as both women struggled to. Beverly's heart pounded in her chest as she awaited Bianca's response. She couldn't believe the callousness and disregard her daughter-in-law had shown towards her feelings and her home. The silence stretched on, amplifying her frustration. Finally, Bianca spoke, her voice tinged with a false sympathy. "I understand you're upset, Beverly, but please try to see the bigger picture. The house needed repairs that we couldn't afford, and the Chechen families needed a place to stay. It was a win-win situation." Beverly's anger surged within her, fueled by Bianca's flippant attitude. "This is not a win-win situation, Bianca. You've violated my trust and stolen my sense of security. How could you be so heartless?" Bianca's voice turned icy as she responded, "Heartless? If you had been more considerate and accommodating, perhaps things wouldn't have come to this. You and I were never meant to live under the same roof." The weight of Bianca's words crushed Beverly's spirit. She couldn't fathom how her own son had chosen a woman capable of such callousness. Anguish mingled with her anger as she realized the depth of betrayal she had experienced. Beverly took a deep breath, summoning all her strength. She knew she needed to take action and reclaim what was rightfully hers. Without another word to Bianca, she ended the call and set her mind to undoing the damage that had been done. Beverly reached out to her lawyer, Edward Beck, a trusted family advisor who had guided her through many legal matters. She explained the situation and sought his advice on how to regain possession of her house. Edward listened attentively, his brow furrowing in concern. He reassured Beverly that they would explore all legal avenues to rectify the situation. He began researching the sale of the property, looking for any discrepancies or breaches in the transaction. Weeks stretched into months as Edward meticulously delved into the intricate details of the sale. His dedication to uncovering the truth never wavered. During his investigation, he painstakingly sifted through countless documents and gathered evidence that revealed a shocking revelation. It became apparent that Bianca had deceitfully forged Beverly's signature on the necessary legal documents, effectively orchestrating the sale of the house without her mother-in-law's knowledge or consent. The discovery sent shockwaves through Edward, solidifying his determination to fight for justice on behalf of Beverly. He understood the gravity of the situation and the immense betrayal that had taken place. With each piece of evidence he uncovered, his resolve strengthened, and he prepared himself to take the necessary legal actions to expose Bianca's fraudulent actions and reclaim what rightfully belonged to Beverly. Armed with this evidence, Edward filed a lawsuit against Bianca, demanding the nullification of the sale and the eviction of the Chechen families from the house. The legal battle loomed ahead, but Beverly found solace in the knowledge that justice would be on her side. As the legal proceedings unfolded, Beverly focused on rebuilding her life. She refused to be defeated by the actions of her daughter-in-law. With the support of her friends and family, she sought solace in their presence and began to heal from the emotional wounds inflicted upon her. The local community rallied around Beverly, offering their assistance and support. Many were outraged by Bianca's deceitful actions and were eager to help right the wrong that had been done. Their encouragement bolstered Beverly's resolve to reclaim her home. The media caught wind of the story, and soon the public's attention was captured by Beverly's plight. News outlets highlighted her struggle, shedding light on the issue of property fraud and the vulnerability of the elderly. Beverly's story touched the hearts of many, and public outrage intensified. People from all walks of life voiced their indignation, demanding justice for Beverly and the eviction of the Chechen families who unknowingly occupied her home. The mounting pressure and negative publicity took a toll on Bianca. Bianca found herself ostracized by friends and neighbors who had once supported her. The weight of guilt and shame began to erode her confidence, and she realized the magnitude of her actions. Regret washed over her, but it was too late to undo the damage she had caused. In the midst of the legal battle, Beverly received an unexpected visitor. It was José Paquette, the leader of the Chechen families who had been unknowingly living in her house. He had learned the truth and was filled with remorse for the role he played in the ordeal. With sincerity in his eyes, José apologized profusely to Beverly, explaining that he and the other Chechen families had no knowledge of the house's true ownership. They had been deceived just as she had been. He expressed his willingness to cooperate in any way to make amends. Beverly was taken aback by José's sincerity and saw the opportunity for forgiveness and understanding. She listened to his heartfelt apology and recognized the innocence of the families involved. A spark of empathy ignited within her. Beverly extended forgiveness to Jose, realizing that he and his community were victims of Bianca's manipulative scheme. She saw them as pawns in a larger game, just like herself. Together, they decided to work towards a resolution that would benefit everyone involved. Beverly and Jose joined forces, their shared mission to rectify the situation and find a fair solution. They reached out to their respective lawyers, Edward Beck and Mark Shumate, to explore the possibility of a compromise that would satisfy both parties. Edward and Mark, recognizing the unique circumstances, agreed to negotiate a settlement that would respect Beverly's rights as the rightful owner while considering the well-being of the Chechen families. They aimed for an outcome that would provide justice and compassion. During the negotiations, it became evident that the Chechen families had grown attached to the house and the neighborhood. They had found a sense of stability and community there, and forcibly uprooting them would only perpetuate more injustice. After intense deliberation, a resolution was reached. The house would be returned to Beverly, but the Chechen families would be provided with alternative accommodations within the same neighborhood. Efforts would be made to ensure a smooth transition and minimal disruption to their lives. Beverly agreed to this compromise, understanding that it was an opportunity to restore justice while also fostering empathy and understanding. She believed in the power of compassion and second chances, and this resolution aligned with her values. The settlement was made public, garnering mixed reactions. Some applauded the compassionate approach taken, while others criticized what they saw as leniency towards the Chechen families. Nonetheless, the resolution moved forward, and plans were set in motion for the transition. Beverly, now armed with a renewed sense of purpose, dedicated herself to making the transition as smooth as possible. She worked closely with local organizations and volunteers to help find suitable accommodations for the Chechen families, ensuring they would still be part of a supportive community. As the day of the transition arrived, the neighborhood came together to support both Beverly and the Chechen families. They formed a welcoming committee, offering their assistance and extending open arms to their new neighbors. Beverly and Josie stood side by side, addressing the crowd gathered outside the house. They expressed their gratitude for the support and emphasized the importance of unity and understanding, even in the face of adversity. Tears were shed, not of sorrow, but of hope and reconciliation. The Chechen families moved into their new homes, embracing the fresh start with gratitude in their hearts. They were welcomed by their new neighbors, who went out of their way to ensure their integration into the community. Beverly's house slowly regained its former glory as she lovingly restored it to its original state. With every stroke of paint and every piece of furniture put back in place, she reclaimed her sense of belonging and created new memories to replace the painful ones. The neighborhood flourished with newfound unity. Beverly, Jose, and the Chechen families became an integral part of the community, breaking down barriers and fostering a deeper understanding of different cultures and backgrounds. Bianca, witnessing the transformation she had set in motion, felt an overwhelming sense of remorse. She realized the consequences of her actions and the lasting impact it had on everyone involved. The weight of her guilt became unbearable. Driven by her remorse, Bianca reached out to Beverly to offer a heartfelt apology. She acknowledged the pain she had caused and expressed her desire to make amends. She knew she had a long journey ahead to rebuild trust, but she was determined to change. Beverly, having found healing and forgiveness in her heart, listened to Bianca's sincere apology. She recognized the opportunity for growth and redemption, and while the wounds were still fresh, she decided to give Bianca a chance to make things right. Bianca's road to redemption wasn't an easy one. She sought therapy and counseling to confront her own insecurities and underlying issues that had driven her to such drastic measures. She committed herself to personal growth and self-reflection. Over time, Bianca's efforts began to bear fruit. She actively participated in community service, working alongside Beverly and the Chechen families to make a positive impact. Her actions spoke louder than words, earning the respect and forgiveness of those she had hurt. Beverly, Jose, and Bianca formed an unlikely alliance. They became advocates for justice, raising awareness about property fraud and the importance of empathy and understanding in diverse communities. Together, they used their experiences to create a platform for positive change. Over the course of several years, the narrative of Beverly, Jose, and Bianca evolved into a powerful emblem of resilience, forgiveness, and unity. Their collective journey resonated deeply with people from all walks of life, leaving an indelible mark on the hearts and minds of many. Their story served as a beacon of hope, inspiring individuals to confront their own biases and prejudices and to actively pursue a greater understanding and acceptance of diversity. The transformative power of their experiences encouraged others to embrace empathy, compassion, and the capacity for personal growth, ultimately fostering a more harmonious and inclusive society. Through their extraordinary tale, Beverly, Jose, and Bianca proved that it is indeed possible to bridge divides, heal wounds, and create meaningful connections, even in the face of profound challenges. Their story served as a reminder that unity can triumph over division, and that the human spirit is capable of remarkable resilience and transformation. The once divided neighborhood flourished as a tapestry of cultures and backgrounds came together, bound by compassion and shared experiences. The legacy of the house served as a reminder of the transformative power of forgiveness and second chances. In recognition of her courage and resilience, Beverly was awarded the keys to the city, symbolizing her triumph over adversity. She used her newfound platform to continue advocating for justice, especially for the elderly who were vulnerable to exploitation. Beverly's story was featured in local newspapers and even garnered the attention of national media. Her unwavering spirit and determination inspired many others to stand up against injustice and to foster unity in their own communities. The Chechen families, now settled in their new homes, flourished as well. They became active participants in community events, sharing their traditions and stories, enriching the neighborhood's cultural tapestry. As for Bianca, her journey of redemption wasn't without its challenges. However, she remained committed to her personal growth and continued to make amends for her past actions. She dedicated her life to fostering understanding and empowering others to make better choices.
Thanks for watching. If you liked the story, write your opinion in the comments.